Hi guys, it's Carissa and I am going to do keto bites for you today. I mentioned in a previous Get Ready With Me video that I had filmed a keto bites video, but it was more of a rant. It was more of a, I don't know, it was kind of inappropriate in my opinion because I was basically just venting frustrations about who I am. And I don't think that that's a positive way to look at life. But I was basically saying, and I did touch on some of it in the last video that I made, that I don't like meat. And I've been trying to force myself to eat meat. And I do like it sometimes prepared certain ways, usually as someone else makes it. But if I've seen it raw, it's such a waste of money and time for me to buy it and cook it and then gag while I'm trying to take the first bite. It just goes against who I am as a person. And the only kind of meat I consistently like is the stuff that's the worst for you. Hot dogs, pepperoni, things that are really finely ground up and don't really look like they were meat at any point. The problem with vegetarian versions of meat are they're expensive and they're usually carby, or at least more carbs per serving than their real meat counterparts. And I'm not any more likely to consistently like those things either. So it's nice that it's an option, but I would rather not eat meat or anything that's pretending to be meat and just work around that. And there are plenty of people who do keto dairy-free, meat-free. There are a small percentage of people who do both. What I took away from my long, ranty message that I made the other day was that I need to look at everything differently. But I wanted you guys to know that if someone like me, who's that picky an eater, can be moderately successful on keto, haven't had major success. In my opinion, I've had major success because my goal was to have a family. And my, in the meantime, goal was to lose weight and get healthier. Because in my mind, and I know that this is very backwards, but I had, the prize that I wanted most as my first goal. And now I'm making that my first goal. But it's not as exciting or glamorous as actually, having something that I've wanted for years and years and years. So it can be really hard to stay focused and really hard to stay honest. So I make it work for the most part, but right now I've noticed, I've been kind of at maintenance for a while. I was losing pretty consistently, and then I think Christmas happened, and then I lost a few pounds and gained a few back, and life, can get challenging, especially now that I do have a little one. I am certainly not one to complain, but I know that there are a lot of people who again, I don't want it to sound like I'm trying to compare myself to other people or be, what's the word I'm looking for here? I guess I just don't want it to seem like I'm talking down on anybody else and what their choices are and what they choose to do to survive, to get by. Because in stressful moments, in having stressful days where Vera isn't sleeping or she hasn't been feeling well, in the last week, she hadn't been feeling well and she wouldn't sleep unless I was holding her, no matter what I did. And so I didn't get many showers. I didn't get much housework done. I just sat and I held my little girl and I did what I felt like she needed the most. But in those days when I'm lacking sleep, which also affects my judgment, and I'm feeling stressed because I just can't even put her down for 2 seconds to pee without her crying, yeah, those are days when I would normally grab convenience foods and eat them in excess just because of my stress. And what I've learned from trying to save money lately and trying to figure out ways of cutting back on carbs, because I'm not really counting them lately. I'm not really counting anything. I'm just trying to, I don't even really have goals. I'm just trying to follow these arbitrary goals that I'm setting for myself. I have learned that if I have to make something, and I've talked about this, I talked about this in the last video, if I have to make something and it requires effort, I'm a lot less likely to binge eat it. And if I don't have something where it's like a bag that I can just open up and, you know, like chips, not that I'd have chips, but you know what I'm saying, like a snack food of some kind, crackers, chips, candy, something that you can just open a bag and reach in and eat it. Most of those foods are not friendly to a ketogenic lifestyle. So I've been trying to not have anything like that in the house. And it's made some tremendous differences to me. And I'm just trying to look at everything so differently. Some days lately, I have to say to myself, and I know that this is going to be an ongoing battle for the rest of my life. Some days I have to say to myself, are you hungry or do you just feel like eating? And then if I just feel like eating, because trust me, there are days where I want to be like, I just feel like eating, bitch, okay? And you know it, and let me just do it. So those are the days where I then say to myself, it's because you're tired, right? Or it's because you're stressed, right? You just want to eat because of blank. Well, that's temporary, or it already happened, so who cares? And then what I've been trying to do is eat something that's always been in my fridge that I overlook constantly, but I'm trying to make myself feel excited about it or proud of the choice. So I'll say, have some blue cheese dressing with some celery, because it's crispy and it's tasty, and the fat from the blue cheese dressing will satisfy me, and the crunch of the celery will feel like a snack food, like something that's, you know, a little bit more exciting. The sound of it, the thought of it in my head, like, oh, go grab some celery and blue cheese, it makes me want to be like, no, I don't want that. I want something warm and tasty, or I want popcorn. I want anything but that. But when I have it, even if it's just 2 little stalks of celery and 2 little tablespoons of dressing, there we go. It gave me something to eat, and it gave me something to do to kind of get me through till dinner, because it's usually around like the 4 to 6 o'clock mark that this strikes me, and we do eat dinner a little bit late, so for a lot of people that wouldn't be an issue. The other thing is pickles. I buy halved pickles. I only like dill, and I'm very picky about everything, but pickles also. I only like dill pickles, and I only like the kosher kind that have to be refrigerated, because they're super crispy, snappy, and they're just way better in my opinion. So I will have 1 or 2 halves of a pickle, and that helps me because I've read, I'm sure a lot of you have read, that if you're craving sweets, or if you're feeling snacky or moody, that's usually an electrolyte imbalance. So that helps me with that. And it usually makes me thirsty, so I'll drink a little bit more water and I get that in. And again, it's cold out. I want to be under a blanket all day, all the time. And when I'm feeling moody and feeling like a jerk and feeling like I just want to order a pizza, if I just say, are you hungry? Are you actually hungry? And sometimes I am, but not that hungry. So are you hungry, or do you just feel like eating? So then I have a pickle, and wow, it makes such a difference. Another thing that I've been doing, not intentionally, a lot of this was because of the fact that Vera wasn't feeling well and my sleep schedule has been all over the place, but I haven't really been weighing myself. I don't believe that people should weigh themselves daily or even weekly if it negatively affects you. Because if you see too few results, you know, it's very natural to look at this as needing to be a short-term solution all the time. And if you step on the scale and you're not always losing weight, that it feels like a waste, or it feels like, what am I putting myself through this for? So I just assume the worst when I haven't been weighing myself. And I'm guessing that that's why it works for a lot of people. I just assume the worst. Like, well, I better be more careful because probably haven't lost any weight. And then, lo and behold, when I do finally step on the scale, it shows results that are better than when I'm closely monitoring my weight. So I know that that won't always work, and I know that tracking is much more ideal, but I'm the kind of person who, I don't really believe to blame bad choices on being triggered by other things. I'm not saying that that isn't a very real thing, but that's another issue that in my last video I was being really negative about, was that, Oh, I know that most people would say, well, you need to track better if you want better results. But to me, my clothes are fitting better. I feel good. I feel really good. And for the most part, I have a lot of the issues that I've had in the past under control, and I'm headed in the right direction. Forward motion is still forward, no matter how slow. So I feel like, it would be easy to say, well, tracking makes me feel suffocated and it makes me feel frantic and it makes me hold off and not eat because I'm scared to not have those calories later. I used to do that on Weight Watchers. I used to, my points, I have to save my points. And at the end of the day, I would eat almost my whole day's worth of points in one sitting before bed. And so what that does is that sparks a habit of binge eating. So I don't track for that reason because I know myself well enough, but I will tell you that I feel a lot better when I just kind of keep a mindful eye on the sort of things that I've been eating and what they do and don't do for me and how they do and don't make me feel. It's hard to do though. It's really hard to do because a lot of times people, especially people in my position, care more about how the food's going to make them feel before they eat it. Because you just want it. You have the craving, or you are tired or stressed or think that you're so hungry, and you don't really consider the consequences, or you brush it off until after the fact. So those are some changes that I've made mentally. I'm not trying to force myself to eat meat. The lower carb that I eat, the better, obviously, but calories still do matter. And, that wouldn't solve all of my problems if I was content with eating a chicken breast every day, or eating ground beef or whatever people eat. Those things are only going to make me feel bad because I will buy them with good intentions and then they'll sit in my fridge and make me feel guilty every time I open the fridge. And then Mike will nag me, why haven't you made this meat yet? It's going to go bad. And it's just, I can't be someone I'm not. But I still think that this lifestyle is the best for me. I have proof that it is. She's sleeping upstairs right now, and I'm going to keep going with that. Oh, maybe she's not sleeping. She's awake. So, hi, baby. Hi, sweetie. I'll be right there, okay? Oh, I'll be right there. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys and let you know that that's where things stand right now. That's what I've been doing new, and I wanted to make sure you guys know I'm still here. I'm still moving forward, even if it's slowly. It's still forward. Okay, I wish you guys the best. Gotta go get my girl. Bye.